Hi, this video's topic is about the worst things about being self-employed. I have been self-employed for the latter half of this year, and it's not easy, but it's been one of the most rewarding processes of my life. So I figured I would share some of the worst things about being self-employed. Keep in mind though, none of these things are permanent, none of them have to be permanent. There are systems that you can place, which I will mention within each point. So yeah, please keep watching, I think this will be helpful for you. So the first thing I would say is having to work outside of your preferred time or being contacted outside of your preferred time. For example, you have clients who have your personal cell phone number and they kind of just, they'll text you at like 11 p.m. something and then you're like, oh my, like you're thinking about work now, you're thinking about whatever they're asking you about, you're like, oh, I have to add that to my list or whatever. Personally, if somebody contacts me after like, most days 7, but some days 6 p.m., I won't even look at the text, I won't read it until the next day. Even if they're calling me, even if they're like, I won't respond to anything. I'll give them a call back the next day, be like, hey, sorry, Mr. Cole, what's up? And usually they kind of will get the hint if it becomes a prolonged like issue where you are thinking about this person's situation, like your client, thinking about what you provide them, whether it's a product or service outside of the time that you would like to be. You definitely will have to address that with them at some point if it's a real problem. If you can't just get away with doing what I suggested and just like pushing it off until the next day when you're actually available, then you would have to address it with them. I think the next thing that is the worst about being self-employed is that you have to hold yourself accountable. So all of my friends with ADHD or just like procrastinators overall know what I'm talking about, because there can be like a million things at once that you can do with your business and with your time and energy, and prioritizing everything and then executing can be really difficult because you have to have systems in place that work and that are proven to get you, okay, I know I have 1,000 things going on, but like how do I need to lay this out? Do I need to put it in my calendar? Do I need to get a task management system? Do I need to tell my friend about it so they'll remind me? Do I need to put it in my text thread with my client so that whenever I go and open our text thread I see what I sent and I'm like, oh, because sometimes I'll do that. Sometimes I'll just be like, if you have any ideas, like to my clients, if you have any ideas, just send it in our text thread, and the next time we meet, we can address everything in there. Just so I'm not like putting 1,000 things on my task manager that aren't really like a priority, or like I'm not having to sift through emails like, oh, what did they say? Like, you know what I mean? It's just really much easier. And yeah, having a mentor or like a business partner definitely makes the accountability component easier too, because if you're doing it all alone and you don't really talk to anybody about your business or about your goals or what you have going on, and it's like all up here or all on your computer, for a lot of people it's way more difficult that way, because it's just easy to kind of not look at your computer and just not have to do anything. So yeah, I don't know, at least in my experience, I know some other people who are like, I have all these goals, but how do I execute? And you just have to have a really good system where you know that if you set it up a certain way, if you make sure that the things that you prioritize are actually priorities, like for example, like a priority I feel like is like I have to do something this week, and then like after that week, if I I go week by week. I don't try to do things like way far in advance. I'll just put it in my calendar for it to like schedule into that week some time to do it. And the calendar is important too. If you didn't have a calendar before being self-employed and now you're self-employed, it's like a rude awakening. I had a planner since I was like 17, so that's always been something I've had. And I've always knew that I needed to write things down, because that's like my action step towards things. Because if I don't write it down, it just bounces around inside my mind until I finally do something about it. So sometimes I can't do something about it right away. Like, people say where it takes 5 minutes or less, you should just do it. Like, I'll do those things, but there's other things that take a little bit more time where maybe I worry about forgetting, so I write it down. And I can't do it at that exact moment, or maybe I do it in a week or so, whatever. The next worst thing about being self-employed is that you have to build your own consistent income by creating a pipeline. So it can be trying if you're inconsistent. If you aren't consistently reaching out to people or doing some kind of like marketing, and not like paying for flyers and like posting them, but like you could do that technically, but usually the best methods are like sending people messages or emails or whatever, like actual direct marketing, not just like posting something or like, but even then, if you're not doing anything at all, you can expect people to know what you're doing. You can be like, hey, I want your services, if you aren't going out there and going after it. So, and just because you go after it, like everyone knows this, you get like 10% of what you put your effort towards. So you really have to make sure you're consistent and that's part of your schedule. So for example, usually when I'm at the gym in the morning, I will do my outreach on LinkedIn and Bumble. So that means I will add everybody that I can. On LinkedIn, I don't really message people anymore. A lot of people just reach out to me, which is fine. But I used to message like 70 people a day, and I probably should get back to that because it wouldn't help my income grow. Part of that accountability part, right? So, but on Bumble, I try and swipe on people. My profile is very forward on Bumble. It's very like, this is what I do, this is what I offer. Like, and so people want that or know somebody wants that, they will swipe on it, and then we can talk about it. And usually, like most of the time, there's some interest. There's like been a few people who like no or no answer, but the people who do answer, it's been pretty successful so far. But yeah, so I can follow that part of the advice where I keep building my pipeline, because you get some really good clients where it's like super promising and exciting. Maybe you get the pay rate you wanted and the amount that you wanted per month to put you at your goal, and then it's so easy to just like, oh, I got where I wanted, and then you forget about the next step. You have to make sure that you keep scaling and you keep building that pipeline, because you never know, maybe one of your clients who are high paying don't need you in a couple months. They find another provider of that service who has a better rate or does a better job or was a referral or whatever. So that's your form of insurance, to make sure that you keep doing that and you fit it into your schedule. You do your outreach in the morning, meetings in the afternoon, or you can do the opposite. You do meetings at night. As long as you do them, who cares what time it's at? Although being on LinkedIn and maybe not Bumble, because I use the US mode where it's all over the country, so the time zones vary. But on LinkedIn there are certain times, like usually like 1 or 2 p.m. If you're doing like adding people, you're doing outreach, people are way more likely to answer at those times, because usually downtime, like lunch. Or even if you like add somebody, maybe they'll see that you added them at that time. Like I've had clients literally be like, if you didn't send me that invite at this time, like I probably never would have even accepted it. So you never know. You just gotta do it. You just gotta put yourself out there. And the next worst thing about being self-employed is that you need to present yourself effectively. And I'm saying this right now in leggings and a dry fit. Oh my gosh, this would be. I'm saying this right now in leggings and a dry fit shirt and slippers. Thankfully, I don't have any meetings today. I don't have any clients to go on site to, so I can dress how I want. And I don't really feel good, so I was like, I'll dress like. This bee is like harassing me. Oh my gosh. I just hope he goes away. Anyway, you have to present yourself effectively. Obviously, right now, this is how I dress. I was going outside to a client. Most of the people that I know in my program are completely virtual, but I live in an area, you can hear by the traffic rushing by, that there's a lot of people, there's a lot of businesses in this area, and if it's a smaller level client where I can get away with going to their office like once a month, I have no problem with that, but I do most of my work virtually. So it's nice with that, but I still like to, have my hair done. I have curls, so I'll spray it and comb it out, make it nice and smooth and shiny, and do a little bit of makeup, put my moisturizer on, whatever, some jewelry, nice shirt. If it's a Zoom meeting, if it's in person, I'll literally put on my nice slacks and my nice boots or flats, or maybe if it's nice, I'll put heels on. So those types of things with like perfume and lotion, like all those little like, personal hygiene, like you want to smell good, you want to look good. And not every day I feel like doing that, So that's one of the things where I'm like, if I have to meet with a client, I'm like, I have to fit in some time to like look presentable, which isn't a bad thing. I enjoy looking good, but it's not, I don't know. It's still better in my mind than having to wake up at like 7:30 in the morning and get ready, and then go sit in an office all day in the same clothes and the same makeup and get home at like 5:30, 6 o'clock. But it's still one of those things. So, because your image is your image. Like, there's nobody else who is going to make you look good besides yourself with your business. So, unless you have like a really good like business partner who will go take meetings for you or something, and they love just getting ready all the time. Like, they're up at 5 a.m. getting ready. I'm not that type of person. And the last thing that I think is difficult, I don't think it's the worst. I think this one's down there on the list because it's also a good thing in life. This is a good skill and a good mindset to have in general, but I don't think a lot of people have it, which is why they're okay with settling for careers they don't necessarily like, because the business part is too risky in the financial sphere, in the mental sphere, it's way more challenging. But this one is being self-assured and centered. You have to have faith. You have to have a lot of faith. And like I said before, those systems that you put in place, you're going to rely on heavily. They are going to place everything into the perfect spot for you to excel. But if you don't have the right systems, if you don't have the right mindset, where you're like, okay, I did X, Y, Z, this is taken care of. Or if it's not taken care of, the next step, and the next, and then until it's finished. And it's hard for some people to manage that much in their mind, where they can simultaneously have 10, 20 different clients and be able to keep track and not lose their mind and not feel upset or like frustrated or overwhelmed, all these emotions that can happen when you feel out of control. And so you have to have faith, you have to feel like you're in control, and really have to have control over what's going on in your business. If it's not, it's going to feel really not good. It's not going to feel good at all. And yeah, being centered, I don't know if anyone watching this has ever worked in customer service or been like a bartender or something like that, but yeah, that field will really teach you how to have a level head and just keep your cool. Nothing in this is personal. Nothing in this is like about you as a human being. Sometimes shit is just hard. That's it. Like, and it's not always hard. It shouldn't always be hard. At least in my life, I don't want things to always be hard. I like things to be easy and fun. Not everything's easy and fun, but I'm prepared for when it's hard. I'm prepared for the times I know it's going to be more difficult. Not prepared for the times I don't know. Nobody's prepared for that, but you can at least have an idea on like the mindset it requires to be settled in yourself and have faith and not let your emotions and these crazy things that can happen change how you feel about your business, about your life. Sorry if that's kind of all over the place, but it's kind of more of like a spiritual type thing. But if you need help with any of the things I mentioned, if you're a current business owner, if you want to get started in business, specifically marketing and accounting professionals, I have been involved in a mentorship program for the past 4 months with a man called Bryce Tubbs. I learned so much in this program. That's why I'm even speaking on this video now, because I have gained so much knowledge and clarity on my path since I joined this program and had the support from not only the members but Bryce himself through meetings, texts, emails, always checking in, always making sure that things are going well and that I'm in a good spot, or if I'm not, I'm on to the next better spot. The materials and just the systems you learn about, the sales and growth strategies, the high value offers that you can create because of what you learn in this course. Like, it is such a valuable program, and I can't recommend it enough. I am a changed human being, and I'm gonna keep changing. I like the beginning of this year, I had dreamed about doing this, but I never could have done it without being a part of this mentorship. So go click the link in the description and book a call.